Happy Wisdom Wednesday, everyone. So this week I got a nice thin book for you because I've gotten a lot of requests for people who are on the go, who like physical books like me, but unfortunately can't always carry all the books that they'd like. So, whether you have a briefcase or a purse, these are nice little books to carry. So this is called Lessons Learned, straight talk from the world's top business leaders. And this topic is on leading by example. The Harvard Business Press produces these. Love these books because they're easy to read, easy to carry. I have a little stack of them here on a variety of different topics. But I want to go with leading by example just because something happened this week that I thought was very remarkable, and I got it out of this book. So, again, the way these books are structured is that you get an essay from, let's say, Richard Branson. And at the end, you have nice little quick takeaways as to the lessons that are learned, right? And one of the lessons that I got out of this book is the value of listening to your peers, but more importantly, listen to the people who report to you, right? And I want to give you a little lesson in neuroscience history. So there was a neuroscientist named Panksepp. Panksepp passed away in 2017. He was an Estonian neuroscientist, and he actually coined the term affective neuroscience, meaning the emotions that come out of neuroscience as they develop. Now, here's what's interesting about this guy. He's the guy who actually discovered that rats laugh. There's a video online where it shows him tickling rats and it shows the rats laughing. So you think, okay, why the hell would you spend all this money to figure out the rats laugh? And this comes out of older research in psychology from John Piaget, who found that morality comes out of the idea of play, which is important for adults to play with children, because you start to understand how the world works from play, right? And as we grow up, even real life, it's just a larger scale game. That's why Shakespeare said all the world's a stage. So here's what Panksepp found. He took rats, and it turns out that rats really love to play with each other. They wrestle with each other, and when they wrestle, the bigger rat usually pins the other rat down. Okay, so juvenile rats love to play. So put rats in a cage and let two rats go and play with each other, and one rat was just maybe 10% bigger, which is enough to pin it down, right? So the two rats, they play, right? Big one pins the other one down. They go back into their cages and they have a little door. The little rat has a button that it learns to press. And when it presses the button, the door opens, it goes out and kind of does a little move to tell the big rat, hey, I want to play. And then they play again. Now, here's what he found. That if the bigger rat did not let the little rat win at least 30% of the time, so two rats, they play 10 times. If out of those 10 times, the big rat wins 8 times, 9 times, 10, all the time, the little rat will stop inviting the bigger rat to play, right? So the reason why this is important is because you can take this lesson in neuroscience from rats, and it's of course applied to human beings because we're all mammals. So how did this apply for me this week? So many of you know I have a fantastic intern, Tanner. Unfortunately, it's his last week. He's going back to school. Great kid. Very, very smart. And it took me being mentored by some great people to learn how to always be curious and always listen, right? And it's very tempting as someone who's an authority figure, or if you have somebody reporting to you, to always be right, to always have the right answer, right? But if you do that, if let's say you have a discussion with somebody who reports to you 5 out of 5 times, 6 out of 6 times, 10 out of 10 times, that you never let them be right, again, because, when you have a discussion, when you have a little debate, it's kind of like play. If you're right all the time, they will stop inviting you to have those discussions because they're never right. You have to allow them the opportunity to be right. And at the very least, let's say they're not right, you have to give the opportunity that you might be wrong. So of course, in me developing this relationship with Tanner, brilliant kid, and I've selfishly benefited from that because now I have one other person who's looking at different problems in different ways. So this week we were discussing something that we saw in the news, and I had a very firm stance on it, and he disagreed with me, and without hesitation really just ran circles around me on this one topic and changed my mind. He was absolutely right about this. Had I not prepped for this ahead of time by having previous discussions where we discuss a problem, and if he had the better idea, I would say, hey, you know what, you are right. Not Not, say, I'm going to think about it, and then later we implement it without any recognition. It's literally saying, hey, you were right, I was wrong. That's a much better idea. So my lesson today, I guess, and again, get these books. They're great. They're great gifts. My lesson today is look for those opportunities when you play, when you have these discussions with your team, to let other people be right at least 30% of the time. Maybe you don't have to count, but if you have to think back about when was the last time I admitted I was wrong or I had a bad idea to my team, if you have to think hard about that, it's been long, long overdue. And the worst part about that, if you're trying to be, business-minded and strategic about this and everything, the best thing is you're doing this to gain all that you can out of people, so you can get the best ideas. And again, to quote my dear mentor Chris Sells, this is how you end up pitting different people with different biases on one problem. And if you allow them and encourage them and empower them to give their best answer, to give their best ideas, you'll solve the problem in the best and most efficient way. So that's the lesson of the week, I guess you can say. And this is the little book of the week. Happy Wisdom Wednesday. And as always, I'll see you next week.